Tommy asked me to speak about growing in my life of piety before and after Cursillo. So I was thinking about this, and it really, going through this, it really helped me. Uh, it helped me to just kind of review my life, of course, before and after, which that's what it was for, right? But anyways, my name is Sandy, and I made my Cursillo in the fall of 1999. And I want to tell you a little bit about my background because this is the before part, right, of my piety. So I grew up in a very Catholic family. Missing Sunday masses and holy days of obligations was never an option. I attended first through eighth grade at St. Joseph's in Addison, and I was privileged to make all my sacraments there, almost all. My husband and I married in the fall of '88 at St. Pius in Lombard. And it seemed soon after that, our marriage was starting to be attacked by some very malicious forces, to the point where I started spending many hours in church, seeking God's protection and consolation. And we really didn't have any experience with any of that kind of sort of stuff at that time. So I did what I thought was best to do, and I spent a lot of time in church. So during this time, our marriage, in our marriage, there was a lot of ups and downs, as like every married couple. Unfortunately, we suffered several miscarriages, and I believe that that was a time when I was very vulnerable. And I remember crying out to God one time, and I asked him to allow me to experience the joy of at least having one child. And of course, God in all his goodness, he gave me that. He gave me a little girl. I was very fortunate to stay home with her, and before she started, until she started school. So during that time, I was able to join some prayer groups at church, and I said the rosary periodically, but I wasn't, a rosary holic. I just, that wasn't what I was doing. I was just kind of like playing with it more or less. Although I was not living a fully sacramental life. So going to reconciliation for me was not at the top of my Dave and I were still being attacked, and it seemed it was very often now. It was to the point where I knew things must change or we would be getting divorced. So I started attending daily mass about 5 years before I made my Cursillo. So probably in, I don't know, 1992, something like that. I don't know, 94. Yeah, 94. And at that time, the parish that I belonged to was right next door to the school my daughter attended. So her school started at 8:20 a.m. and then I would walk across the parking lot, literally, and go to mass at 8:30. How perfect was that, right? So God was so working in my life and I just didn't see it. So my piety started to take root once I started living a fully sacramental life. Prior to Cursillo, it was non-existent. After Cursillo, it became an integral part of my life, just like a well-balanced spiritual diet. So that was my life before Cursillo. So after Cursillo, as I actually started going to Eucharistic adoration with two of my very good friends right after my Cursillo. So probably maybe 99, 2000, something like that. So we went every Tuesday and Friday from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. on Tuesdays, and then 12 to 1 a.m. on Friday. And we still do that to this day. So we've been doing it for 25 years. 6 years ago, right before my daughter got married, I started following the Flame of Love trick, and I incorporated 4 more days. So since and then Dave, my husband, he retired about 3 years ago, and he started joining me. So we go every Sunday from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Every Monday from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. Every Wednesday from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. And every Thursday from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. Tuesdays from 1 to 2 a.m. I try to make it to mass as often as I can. But there's the weeks I don't go. I fulfill my Sunday obligations. That's all I could do. And then there's weeks like St. John Vianney Novena last week, because that's my parish, So I went to mass every single night for 9 nights, So, but I try to go at least 2 to 3 times a week extra. I group with my Cursillo group twice a month. I'm also the head sacristan in my parish, and that keeps me really busy. I also try to read good spiritual book as much as time allows. And right now I don't have a lot of time. And lastly, I've become involved with Cursillo on a much deeper scale. Joining the Secretariat was in the cards all along. I guess I just didn't know it. I started giving more of my time and my commitment to it probably within the last 2 to 3 years. I also examine my conscience on a daily basis. Typically, it's never at night because I'm always falling asleep. But I usually do it when I'm fully awake and engaged in my thoughts and prayers. And more than likely, I'm not examining that exact day because I'm catching up on a couple days. But I do make it a point every day to sit and think about what I need to change in my life, you know. I know God is always working in me as I know, as I'm growing older and time changes and I change and my work changes and everything's going, you know, things in life. But I pray I will be able to do whatever God wants me to do and I'll be able to follow him wherever he leads me in the future. And that's it.